Well, thank you all for coming out to see our demonstration today. We are going to have some fun. We're making a couple of recipes today for you. We're going to make a Northwest Berry Crisp, and pretty soon you should be able to smell that because it's in the oven right now. We're going to show you how to do it, but then we're going to do the Food Network magic of bringing it out already for you. And then we're going to also be making my personal favorite raspberry chipotle barbecue sauce. Yay! And it is awesome to put over ribs. That's my favorite way to use it, but it also works on a pork roast or a variety of other pork chops. And then we're going to, as Michael already showed you, we're going to have you tasting it as an appetizer, so you can use it in a multiple of ways. Another thing that we're going to really be talking about today, and this is kind of my reason for being here with the Produce Man, is because what I sell and what Oregon Fruit makes is canned berries and cherries. And what we're here to talk about at the Berry Fest is fresh berries and cherries. So what we're going to talk about is how, when you can get them fresh, of course that's what you want to do, fresh, local, in season, best way to eat. But then in the off season, what do? And for convenience, what do you do? And especially when you're baking something, what's the best thing to use when you're baking? Because in fresh, you really want to eat it fresh, just like it came out of the ground. And then when you're baking, it kind of makes no difference. So we're going to show you how you can do it either way. So we're going to bake up the crisp with fresh and with canned side by side, let you taste them both, and see how to use them both. The first thing we're going to make is the barbecue sauce. And you are going to be surprised at how easy the barbecue sauce is to make, because I take a couple of shortcuts. And so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to start with a regular old bottle of barbecue sauce, any kind you like, and that's the base for our barbecue sauce. Okay, then we're going to add in a third of a cup of honey. If you like it a little sweeter, if you like it a little more tart, you can do whatever you like with the sweetness level. Third of a cup works for me.
So your favorite barbecue sauce, then add some honey into it, and
right.
You just have it in a saucepan. We're going to just be heating that up.
We're going to add the juice of 2 limes, and I think there's a couple of kids in the audience here that I'm going to need some help from. You guys want to come up and help me? Okay, come on up.
Whoa, what do you have them do?
I'm going to have them roll the limes. And why are we going to do that? Do you guys know why we roll the limes? I'm going to have you do it right over here, right up front. In fact, I'm going to make you some room. Here, let's make you some room right there.
What are your names? Let's start with you. What's your name and how old are you? Trinity is 5 years old. What's your name and how old are you? Kai, 8 years old. And what's your name? How old are you? Addison, 5 years old. What's your name and how old are you? All right, give our helpers a big round of applause.
Okay, I'm going to have you doing limes and lemons. Okay, I've got a lemon here too, so I want you to find a spot.
She knows what to do.
Yeah, look at that. Did somebody tell you this already? No, you just knew? Smart. Okay.
They're rolling the limes. That's an interesting sight. Why would you have these poor girls do that?
Well, because you told me yesterday the why. I mean, I knew that the reason we do it is to get them to juicy, to get the juice available to you, so when you go to squeeze it, it's easier and you get more out. But you told me why, so tell me again.
Oh, the why is all citrus is made up of hundreds of little tiny water balloons inside. And so by rolling it on a hard surface, you basically break all those water balloons. So that when you go to squeeze it, the juice just comes out really easily.
Yeah, they're hard. You have to put some muscle behind it. I think you girls can do it though. I have faith. Okay, so what we're putting in the saucepan was honey, barbecue sauce, and lime. And now we're going to chop up the kind of somewhat secret ingredient, which is chipotle peppers. And the way you buy those is you buy them in a can on the Mexican food aisle in the grocery store, and it's actually a smoked jalapeno, and it comes in a sauce called adobo sauce. And so we're going to do 2 of these chipotles, and 2 teaspoons of the adobo sauce goes into the sauce. Now this is going to be pretty spicy. If you don't like it quite so spicy, just use 1. It's really simple to cut that down. If you like it spicier, then you can use 3. This is really up to you to use your creativity. So what we're going to do is we're just going to chop those these chipotles up, fine dice. They will break down a little bit because they're going into the sauce that we're cooking.
So Erin, how are the girls doing?
The girls are rocking the limes and lemons. They're going to be so juicy and ready to go for me. So you guys think you got them all juiced up? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, girls. Give them a great round of applause. Leave your lemons and limes there.
Thank you. Yes, please leave me the lemons and limes because I'm going to need them for that drink we were talking about.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, so we're just heating that up. We're going to cook that about 5 minutes. That's all you got to do. And then we're going to add in the raspberries and some cilantro. So now we've taken the sauce off the heat, and now we're just going to add in the berries and the cilantro. We're not cooking it anymore. And the first thing that we're going to do, I'm going to put the berries in first because Michael made fun of me yesterday because I use really sophisticated culinary language.
Technical culinary terms.
We're going to mush the berries into the sauce. Mush, smash. Okay, so that barbecue sauce is all done. You will get to taste it in a little bit. I do have a few, I'm going to show you a few ribs. Probably don't have enough to sample everybody, but if you're first in line, you'll probably get to try those.
We will auction off a rib to one person.
Yes. Okay, the next thing that we are going to move on to is our crisp. And first I'm going to check and see. Okay, starting to smell good. So everyone has their own cobbler, crisp, crumble sort of recipe. And in the Northwest, you will always find oatmeal in the traditional Northwest crisp crumble. They all have their own name. They might put other ingredients, but oatmeal is pretty popular. So that's what we're going to be doing today. Is we're going to be doing that kind of a crisp. And one of the reasons why I like it is it makes me feel like it's kind of healthy. You know, like you've got berries, you've got oatmeal. I actually even use a whole grain flour when I make mine, and I use Bob's Bread Mill whole wheat pastry flour. And the reason why I like that product, I don't work for them, but I like that product because it's very light and it gives a really good texture to your pastry and not the really dense sort of dry thing that people don't like about whole grains. So we're going to go ahead and start making the fresh filling. And what I did here is I just washed a cup and a half of fresh blackberries, raspberries, and blueberries, and we're just going to put them in a bowl right now with a couple of other ingredients, and we're going to let them sit and kind of juice up. Now, if you notice, you don't have a lot of juice when you do a fresh berry. They're lovely and delicious, but they don't have a lot of natural juice showing when you get started, and you need that when you want to make a filling. So we're going to put in a cup of sugar, and we're going to just stir that up and get it, and the sugar will help it juice up a little bit. And then we're going to add a couple tablespoons of cornstarch, because then we're going to get that syrup to sort of thicken itself up when it's in the baking. So we're going to just sprinkle that in. You see how easy this is, and I've measured up all my ingredients in advance, so this will go quicker for you. And if you, now that is a real cooking term, mise en place. Learn that on the Food Network, my vast culinary education. But that just, what does it mean again?
Oh, everything in place.
Yes.
Everything in its place. It was real funny, a couple of years ago, I emceed all of the food events at the California State Fair. Erin, you'll like this.
Yes.
We have the former executive chef of the White House.
Oh.
Walter Scheib was at the fair, and so we had him in our center kitchen. And he was going to make what his world famous firecracker barbecue sauce. And so he had like 20 ingredients and all these little canisters and these little things of juices and spices and herbs and all kinds of stuff, right? So he was in the back. We had a huge crowd there that day, and I was getting the crowd all warmed up, and so I went up to his line of little canisters and I said, I wonder what would happen if I moved this one over to here. And right about then, this big wooden spoon hit me right on the hand. Leave that alone, he said.
Yeah, you don't want to mess with someone's order when they're cooking. Notice that I grated a lemon into this fruit, and I'm going to squeeze the juice in as well. Lemon and berries are like a match made in heaven. They really brighten each other up. So it's something, one of my best recipes that's on the blog, and I have some people here who've tried it, so they know that I'm right. It is a blueberry lemon cake that's about the best thing you've ever had in your life. I already have wedding requests and anniversary party requests for that cake, so if you're looking for a really spectacular cake, go to the blog and look for that lemon blueberry cake. Okay, so I'm going to squeeze these, and these girls did such a fantastic job that they are really juicing up fantastic. Now you got to watch for the seeds. I tried to take them out, but they're kind of seedy, so let's do that. Make sure we don't get the seeds in there. And then that filling will be just kind of ready to go, and it's just going to sit there for a minute while we start working on the canned fruit filling. So for our filling for this recipe, we're going to use a half a cup of each of the syrups to make our slurry. But because I'm going to kind of cheat a little bit, I'm going to put all the syrup in here, and then I'm going to use a cup and a half of the blend. Comes out the same. So when you're doing it at home, you can realize that you're just going to use a half a cup of each. And you can do it the same way. It's kind of an easy way. So there's that.
Some blackberries.
Blackberries. The blackberries actually look really pretty. They look like that you just picked them, and people are often surprised by that it came out of the can and they look so good. These make a beautiful topping for a cheesecake or anything that ice cream, really great. The same is true of the blueberries. Blueberries also have really nice color, and the structure stays pretty intact. And that's because the blueberry has a little bit thicker skin to kind of hold it all together. So they're a good candidate for canning. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to put our cornstarch, which is 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, into our juice when everything's still cold. We just want to get it blended together before we start cooking it, because then the starch won't be lumpy. And we're trying, what a slurry really is pie filling. It's just the basic, you're just thickening the syrup, and you're adding in the fruit, and then you could make a pie with it just the same. What you didn't see me put in here was any sugar, right? Because these fruits are all canned in syrup, and it's, for my taste, it's just enough, especially with the sugar that we're going to use in the topping. So you don't have to add any additional. It's kind of a good way to just use it straight up, save a little step, and reduce the sugar a little bit yourself.
So a little bit of lemon zest and some lemon juice, just like you did with the fresh.
Yep. Same exact thing. And then we just kind of toss it in. And one thing you do want to be careful with when you're using canned fruit is just be really gentle about the mixing. Now, back in the barbecue sauce, we were like, who cares about gentle? We're just mush away. But in a cobbler or a pie, you want to be kind of gentle. So we're going to put this slurry into the berries. Just gently combine them. Don't have to be super evenly stirred or anything, because it all gets mixed up together in the crisp. And then we put that into one of these pans as well that we already put sprayed with cooking spray. The topping is really, really easy. So we're going to take 2 sticks of butter. Now remember, this is a double recipe, so if you're starting to get all Paula Deen freaking out on me here, don't. It's 1 stick of butter per pan, and we're going to melt it in the microwave. Whoops, I didn't do that right. And what's nice about melted butter is this whole thing goes together so quickly and easily. So we've got 2 cups of that wheat pastry flour we were talking about. We've got 4 cups of oats, and I use the old-fashioned Quaker rolled oats. I've got 2 cups of light brown sugar, not packed, just lightly measured, and a teaspoon and a half per recipe, or a tablespoon. If you have your little magnet, you can find out exactly what, 3 teaspoons and a tablespoon of cinnamon. And we put that all together, and we're going to combine that, and when the butter's ready, we're just going to mix it all together and make the topping crumble. Okay, hopefully my butter is melted. Now, you asked me this yesterday too, and I was wondering if some people were wondering about this. A lot of times when you make a pastry, you have to use the butter that's really cold and you have to cut it in. And this is another thing I like about this recipe because it's so easy. You melt the butter and then it mixes together really fast. Very easily. So just tossing that with a spoon, your hands. If your kids like to get in the kitchen and get all up in it, it's kind of like making meatloaf. You can mix this with your hands. And that's another thing when you're making a pastry where you have to keep the butter really cold. You don't want to touch it because the warmth of your hands will melt the butter too much. In this case, already melted, don't care. So you just get that all combined. So you see, it's a crumble.
Just show them in the mirror.
Okay, and now we're just going to sprinkle it on the top. Again, super easy. Just evenly cover the top of each pan. And then it all goes in the oven at 350 for 30 minutes. And a mere 30 minutes later, they look like this. They're brown and bubbly, and you're gonna get to try them. We're gonna be making, the drink we're gonna be making is a mixed berry mojito, but it's a mock mojito. So no rum, because we got kids in the house, and so I don't want to be doing that. But if you were to make it at home, you would do the exact same thing that I'm going to be doing here, and you could throw in rum, tequila, vodka, whatever alcohol you like. Okay, our mojito. Okay, so what I did here is I have a cocktail shaker. I put some crushed ice in the bottom, and I've got some mint leaves. And this is not a muddler. There is a tool called a muddler. People can go and buy it if you'd like, or you can just use anything you have on hand, like a wooden spoon, this grater, anything you want to muddle. Because all you're doing when you're muddling is releasing the oils from the fresh herbs so that you get that all yummy mint infusion. Okay, so we got that all in there muddled, and then we're going to take the juice of a half a lime for each drink, and we're going to throw in some of this combination of berry juice.
Another technical culinary term, throw in.
Yes. And then we're going to top it off with a little sparkling water. Now, if you like this drink to be sweeter, you could use 7-Up. A lot of people like that. I like my drinks a little less sweet, so I use sparkling water. We'll see what you think when you try it. So that's what it looks like. You can put it in a mason jar. You can put a cute little straw in it. It's a really nice summertime refreshing drink. And there's that.
Ladies and gentlemen, Erin Johansen, the Queen of Tarts.
Thank you.
Products Company.